Welcome to Mindfully Integrative Podcast with your host, Dr. Damaris G. Mindfully Integrative is a podcast discussing ways toward mindfully incorporating integrative health into our lives. This podcast will have informative resources, fun topics, interviews, and discussions relatable for today with a true mindful perspective in a mind-body, holistic life approach.
Hi, how are you? Welcome to the Mindfully Integrative Show. And this is Dr. Damaris Maria Grossman. And thank you guys for joining in. We have an amazing mindful chat with Colleen Ryan Hensley. She is a Navy veteran like myself. I'm so excited for you to meet her, mental toughness expert, founder of Binging Sober or hashtag Binging Sober. So thanks so much for being on the show and taking your time with us.
Thanks so much for having me, Dr. Damaris.
No problem. And call me Damaris. It's all good. Just a degree, no big deal. So tell me more about you and what a little fun fact that people may not know about you.
Ooh, fun fact. I have 4 rescue dogs and 2 rescue horses.
Horses too?
Big animal lover. I'm very new to the horses. We recently moved from North Texas down to South Texas and got a tiny bit of land. So we actually have 2 retired therapy horses. Yeah, They're very, very sweet. It's been an interesting adjustment, but I love it. I love getting to know their personalities and just, having them around. It's fantastic.
How, oh my God, the therapy. I remembered being around, going to horses and stuff. That's a big therapy for our military too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, my husband was the clinical director of eQuest, which is an equine facilitated therapy place up in North Texas. So that's how we've known the horses for a while.
Oh, very neat. Yeah. Is it how you guys met, through horses or through
the Mission Continues, actually?
Oh, you met through the Mission Continues?
Yeah. We both applied for the fellowship back in 2012. I was living in Virginia at the time. He was in Texas, where, we still are. And we both got the fellowship and met at orientation.
Oh my God.
Kind of through the horse, because that's what he was doing post-Navy.
That's amazing. Oh, so you're both military, but not in the military at the time.
Yes.
Very cool. Yeah, we were just always wondering, Mission Continues, and then you want to talk about what Mission Continue is? Initially, just a quick
So Mission Continues, still, it's kind of an iteration of it. Back then, they were giving fellowships to military veterans to continue serving in their community following military service. And they still have leadership programs and things like that. The program has evolved since then.
I remember I was in that Team Red, White, and Blue group, and they all kind of work together at some point. That's really cool. Very, very
I love that you know who they are. Yeah, they're fantastic organization.
I feel like the top 3 that I remember that worked together was Rubicon, Mission Continues, and the what was the other guys? Not the Warriors groups. It was oh my goodness, it was Team Red, Mission Continues, Team Red, White, and Blue, and then there was another group, and I guess Rubicon, the 3, So, but I really am so excited that you're on, and you have so much to talk about because your topic is pretty deep, but your story is a lot from what we generally were discussing, and what mental health you call it, but you call it mental toughness, and then it's a hashtag binging sober. I think those are pretty big things right there. So let's chat about it and tell me more.
Sure. So mental toughness, one of my reasons for being is to redefine the way that we view mental toughness as a whole, as a society. The reason why is because this resilience-focused idea of mental toughness is really necessary, right? For a lot of us in the military, first responders. in everyday life, we're facing a lot of stressful situations. So resilience is really important in the moment. But what happened to me is that during a traumatic experience, I used my mental toughness that I prized in the military. I'm sure you can relate. We're a culture that really prizes this idea of being mentally tough. But what happened was I pushed the trauma away and buried it for 15 years. And it was impacting my life and coming out in all of these ways that I couldn't see at the time. But once I uncovered it and went back to that traumatic experience, to those painful feelings, to heal them, that is when my life changed and, became full again. And so really, I really want to focus on this idea that mental toughness needs to include, yes, the resilience in the moment of the stressful situation, but going back to those feelings to process them, that is true mental toughness. That is what we really need to focus on to give it more of a balanced perspective for all of us, so that we start facing those things that could be impacting our lives in really, physical health, mental health, spiritual health, all of these different ways that you might not notice if you think you're just being tough and pushing it away instead of embracing it.
That's so important that you see that, because like people push it away and they think, oh, well, I observed it and I'm letting it go. But are you letting it go, or are you just not really addressing what initially? So that pattern's still there.
Exactly.
And then you brought up this binging sober. So did you drink for many years? Are you sober now?
So when I talk about sobriety with the program #binging sober that's launching officially in January, I'm talking about a lack of intoxication in general from things that we use as escape. And yes, alcohol was one of the things that I leaned on right after the trauma, not knowing, it was a really big part of the culture in the Navy to begin with. So I was, just thought it was fine. Everybody else was doing it. And really, I was using it in excess to avoid these feelings, and even, post Navy as well. So alcohol included, but, we binge watch, we binge eat, we binge drink, we binge shop, we binge lots and lots of things that we have access to try to feel better, to feel numb or not feel at all.
Get away, right? Have no feelings. Exactly.
But you know what? It tends to make us feel worse. And then we walk around tired and stressed and sick. And so binging sober is about taking sober binges. So time away from those things that we use as escape in order to embrace a natural state of mind, which is actually quite joyful. We just don't often experience that because we're constantly leaning on these other things.
No, that's very important to stay, because I feel like the invisible wounds that you're dealing with, or the traumas or the stressors or the things that are coming up, someone is listening here, understanding and going, I had that happen, or I didn't have a trauma, but I feel lost. I feel tired, and I don't want to, I'm binging, I'm doing this. I want to get away from my stressful day, even if it's a situational moment.
Yes.
Or like, all right, let me get away from it. Why should I get away from it? Why am I trying to get away from it? And talking through that. So with your mental performance thing, is this a physical? Is it a combination of working together when someone works with you? How is that? What kind of day is that? Or like what kind of,
when we launch in January, it's really going to be a community of support. I'm launching instructional videos, and I want to make this as accessible as possible. Perfect. All the tools and everything that anyone could need. Now, I understand that a lot of people don't want to be a part of a community, and that's totally fine. You can go it alone. One-on-one coaching is available, but it'll look really similar. There'll be just more one-on-one accountability. And
with you directly. Yeah. That's understandable. That's
Mm-hmm.
exciting. And then you're focusing on a lot of the mental health, just obviously with veterans, or you're helping all different individuals at this point.
Everyone. Yeah.
And what, kind of, because with your advanced degrees and also with your family, is this a nonprofit, or is this your business that you've started with?
I've had a performance. I have a performance coaching business.
That's awesome. And then, so how can, when it came to your story and growing from this, what have you been doing this for a number of years?
Yes.
Growing. Okay.
Yes. Interesting story, because I started doing this unknowingly in the military. And I know this is a very extreme example, but I was on a ship. So when I would go out for a few days, a week, a month, months, I wouldn't have access to those things that I was using a lot to try to feel better, to numb myself. And so I started noticing what my natural state of mind actually felt like. And so there was this really big difference between my quality of life at sea and my quality of life on land. That gave me the wherewithal to say, wait a minute, I actually want to be at sea And then post Navy, I'd go into land, I'd go back to port, or, I'd be on land or at home.
Yeah. Okay.
Doing all of the things that I was doing to escape and numb, but I would go out to sea and not do those things. And post Navy, I unknowingly carried this habit as it became into, back into the real world. And I would take short periods of time away from those things that I was using to numb myself. And so I realized this, and along with, I'm a huge advocate for mental health. And I did, I've used a lot, I've had a lot of therapy and a lot of counselors over the years. And this is something that I was doing to supplement that, or sometimes it was the only thing that I was doing, this, binging sober. And I realized three-ish years ago that this is something that I'd created a pattern in my life to where I would actually, instead of wanting to escape and numb and use those things, I started to crave binging sober. I started to crave the natural state of mind instead of the numb place.
As a person that can also relate to you on that, I feel that it takes quite a while, not in a good or bad way, but teaching someone to be okay with the pause.
Oh, yes.
Inside moments. And those individuals listening, the quiet times and the away from is challenging. And like you said, you changed your pattern. That in itself is so important.
Yes.
And that awareness that you're bringing, I'm always saying a mindful way, but that awareness that you're bringing within or talking to someone, so profound and is beyond words that people don't even understand until they're actually doing the work and doing the unwork, I guess, in a way.
The foundations are awareness, control, and balance of these things.
Perfect. Yeah.
So, at first you're not changing a lot. The big change is the awareness, putting the awareness around it. And not only just the awareness of what you are using, which you and I could be using different things, or they could be impacting us in different ways. And a lot of times we don't pay attention to how is this impacting me in 3 days or next week? Like we don't put that together, that through line. So that's really what this is about, is not, there's not big changes right away. As someone, with a background in performance psychology, I know, you don't try to change 20 things at once. This is all really about being, giving yourself grace, becoming aware of these things that you're using, stepping back a little bit, seeing how it feels. It's not just this all at once. We're going to ask you to abstain from all of these things. It's more about balance, and it's more of a practice than of this is the guide and the perfection up front. Like that's just not the way it works.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I think that, it's one of those things. It takes time.
Yes. Yes.
I really I was, your story, it has a lot, I know a lot of people can relate to it, not just military individuals, having your history, having the, something that happened to you traumatically and then, changing it and trying to, move on and build from that. That's amazing. I mean, you're married now and you have a family.
I am. It was actually my husband that really, I credit for uncovering this trauma and for doing the work to get there, because I've just been sabotaging relationships. I couldn't get close to anybody. I was being really self-destructive. I was just super self-centered and going around the world like, woo, no children, no responsibilities, no, nothing. And then I met him, and there was just something about him. And he as a Navy vet had his own stuff. Yeah. But it was this place that I came to where I saw everything that I was doing, but I didn't understand why yet, because again, I'd repressed this trauma so much. It was just toxic and coming out, impacting my life. And I came to this point where I knew that I either had to face my own stuff and work on it or say goodbye to the relationship. And I didn't want to do that.
That's amazing. Yeah. I can also commend you on the partner. My husband is definitely part of my foundational rock. He definitely taught me so much. I mean, grew through many things. And I think that, yeah, it's good to have that connection, whether it's a partner, whatever that is for you, that connection and that strength to help through the way, because you cannot do anything alone. And I think
I
that
thought I could.
yeah, we think we can. We all think we can, right? We're trying to change the world. I mean, that's part of it, but it's a little by little. I love if you could leave the audience, or if you have more to share on your, that you'd like to share with the audience.
The one thing that I have learned that I want everyone to know is that your beautiful life is in the exact same location as the painful feelings and the discomfort that you're trying to run from, whether you're aware of that or not. We've been it's ingrained in us to move away from pain. It just is. But that is also where our full life is, the acceptance of that pain and just going back toward it is just so rewarding. And the healing is so rewarding that's really what I want people to know, is that healing is the way out of feeling tired or feeling sick or feeling sad or depressed. I've struggled with depression my entire life. And now I feel like it's one of my good friends. Like I have a good relationship with it because it's given me a different perspective. And that is that we have to accept those painful feelings and accept that pain and move toward it and heal from it in order to live a full life. And the first thing that comes with that is realizing what we're doing with our time and what we're doing with our energy, if that is trying to escape and numb.
I definitely can see that, like that, those moments of kind of setting back. What is your, for you, what's one of your unmoments? What is one of your binging sober moments? Like, what's your number one that you like to do?
Nature. To help you? I love to be outside and just
be outside.
That's
great. Love it.
And the animals, of course. I mean,
your animals. That's right. Your animals. Well, I figured you were going to say some sort of therapy.
Yeah.
So your animals and being outside. Yes. Awesome. Yeah. Obviously there's
things like that, like actually being in the nature, like with the nature, in the dirt, with the animals. Yeah.
Nature. Yeah. Nature and the animals can teach you so much. So very, very cool. Well, how can those reach you or get a hold of you? I'll have the information in the show notes, but I'd love for people to know how they can reach you and get in touch with you also as a performance coach too, or just to send you an email.
ColleenRyanHensley.com is my website. You can sign up for updates on the official launch of #BingingSober. That is in January of 2023. I'll be launching focus groups soon, so you can sign up. Again, if you sign up for updates, you'll receive information about that. And then I'm on Instagram at ColleenRyanHensley, and you can follow the #BingingSober.
Love it. I can't wait to get part of your Binging Sober. I'm always like, find a moment, but I think people have to take that word binging and use it as a positive, right? Like, let's take it a different way. Because, once you hear that word, you initially go, oh my God, what are you doing? And then very cool. Very cool. Well, I really appreciate you being on the show and spending time with us and giving a little bit of your insight. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you guys for being here and listening in, and make sure you find a mindful way each and every day.
Thank you for listening to the Mindfully Integrative Show with Dr. Damaris Maria Grossman, family nurse practitioner. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not the substitute for professional medical advice, diagnose, or treat. Always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your healthcare routine. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you enjoyed our show, please support us by leaving a mindful review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite streaming platform. Interested in being a guest or more information? Email us at info@mindfullyintegrative.com. For resources mentioned in the show, visit our website at www.mindfullyintegrative.com. You can also connect mindfully with Dr. Damaris on her social media links found on the site. May your strength and peace guide you to find a mindful way every day. Namaste.